What's up, everybody? It's your good buddy Do It with Dan here. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a fantastic Sunday. This is when I'm recording it, not when I'm uploading it. This will be uploaded on Monday, I believe. Hope everyone's having a wonderful week so far. God, the weather is just beautiful. Could not be more gorgeous. I'm on the ZX-10 and I got a lot of things to talk. Ooh, that's gravel. What's up? A lot of things to talk about today. That was a little sketchy right there. I know what I must do. Hope you guys enjoyed that little bit. Anyway, guys, I do have a topic for today. And, which is weird. Usually I don't talk about specific topics. I just get on my bike and ride and then BS with myself. But this one's kind of important to me. I've been doing a little bit of research on it, and I like how I use hand movements that you guys can't see. So wearing my MK gloves. And that is, motorcycles are a dying breed, believe it or not. And what do I mean by this? I mean, do motorcyclists are dying? Do I mean that motorcycles are no longer being purchased? Do I mean that people are just losing interest in motorcycles in general? What's the topic? And the answer to all of them are kind of yeah. It's like a weird... all of it, the above. It's like being a cop, you know, your chances of getting shot are obviously increased because you are a cop, right? It's like riding a bike, your chances of dying on a motorcycle are greatly increased. Especially when you do a lot of hood rat shit like what I do. It seems like every year, less and less people are interested in becoming motorcyclists, and I think a lot of that is slowly kind of dying away with those hardcore bikers that we had about 40 years ago, you know? You talk about like the dudes that are like 60s and 70s now, that when they were young, you know, they ran the streets with their like biker gang buddies. It was like a real hardcore thing to be a biker. And then you had a bunch of people who bought Harleys to ride around on Sundays, and then you had a bunch of hipsters. The time frame of this is all messed up, but it's really weird that it seems like a lot of people are losing interest in motorcycles over the years. And like you look at MotoGP racing, right? I think that sport, from what I'm able to tell, is becoming more and more dead. This is just stuff that I've collected from being around people in the industry for so long, is that it seems like less and less people are interested in motorcycles and motorcycle racing. Especially with new motorcycles aren't selling as well anymore. And that could be for a number of reasons. First of all, the production cost of motorcycles is now through the roof. Right, just for an example, you got motorcycles now brand new that cost more than a lot of cars do. Like the H2, for instance, brand new. I think they're 28,000. I don't think they're down in the 25s anymore. I think they're up in the 27s, 28,000s new. You get a lot of nice vehicles. You get a brand new baseline Tacoma for $30,000. You know, a truck that'll hold its value for 10 fucking years. And it's weird because I've been a huge fan of car culture as well. I like cars way before I liked motorcycles. It seems like the car culture is in the opposite direction. The car culture just keeps getting bigger and bigger. At least, I want to say at least on the import side. I think the import and exotics seem to be increasing exponentially, whereas like the muscle cars are slowly a dying breed. I mean, there's only one company now that really puts out an old school classic style muscle car. That's Dodge. And that's just because Dodge doesn't give a fuck. But then at the end of the day, Dodge's purchasing base. Are you gonna go? What are you doing? Come on, man, I don't have all day. I was here before you, so you can chill. But you look at Dodge's fan base, and it's like Dodge drivers don't really want fast supercars. They cut the production of the Viper. They're like, ah, well, you know, whatever. We won't make it anymore. The Viper, the ACR Viper specifically, was like the #1 competitor on anything. It was a supercar you could buy for under $150,000. I think the ACR came out to be like $140,000 for like their base-ish model. I know the ACR isn't really a base model, but there's different tiers if I remember right. But you're talking about a car that could outrun just about any car on any track, 0 to 60 in fucking now, and they've canceled production because it's not what people want. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Bikes, though, that's the key thing, is like, I want to call it the hipster generation we're in right now. The hipster generation. We're young guys with flannel t-shirts and big bushy beards. And it's like these hipsters, right? They're coming into the biking community, and let me make something very clear, that I don't care who's in the biker community. I need people to be a part of it, right? I want to be a part of this community, right? And I want more people to be a part of it. It's more people to me enjoy and have fun with and ride around with. But it seems like we're in kind of like that weird hipster generation where, you know, the guy with the big beard and flannel t-shirt buys a CB 750 and makes it into a cafe racer, but he doesn't really do any of the work himself. You know, he wears goofy riding shoes that don't really, that are functional but cost more than real riding shoes do. And then you got these Sunday riders, right? These are the guys that are into the biker community, like that guy right there. Could be a great guy, but you know, he's riding his big custom Harley on Sunday. He probably rides it once every couple of weeks, you know? I have no idea, but you know, he's wearing his you know, flannel style t-shirt and his cowboy boots, and I'm not saying that I'm any better. I'm a dickhead sport bike rider. That's my generation, you know? And like, I do goofy things like wheelies and ride like a dickhead and flip people off for cutting me off, even though I was going 110 miles an hour. But I think a lot of the reason why people aren't hopping into the biker generation is because it's expensive now. It's a lot more expensive. Because before, bikes were seen as like a way of transportation for the poor man, right? I think, anyway. That's how I always looked at it when I was younger. Bikes were cheap. You could buy a ragged-ass, you know, POS Harley for nothing. Because it doesn't have air conditioning. It doesn't have all these cool accessories. It didn't have, you know, cup holders, and it didn't have fucking heated handlebars. And now it's like, shit, dude. You start looking at the, you start really looking at the fucking Gold Wings and the, you know, all the bigger couch cruisers, and they have cruise control, air conditioning, you know, like crazy CB radio system so you can communicate with other riders and truckers and stuff. And you're talking about a $40,000 motorcycle. I could buy the nicest truck in the world for 40 grand. Well, if you guys are interested in my gloves, check out the description. Got a link for them and stuff like that. So there you go, chicka chia. It's a good little workout. Sorry about cutting you guys in between. It's hard to like manage to do both sometimes. But anyway, back to the topic on hand. I gotta go get a new computer chair. At least I'd like to. The one I have now is just kind of like too short. Oh man, my shoulders are fucking tight and worn out. But yeah, the cost for new motorcycles is pretty intense nowadays. You're talking about for a new CBR 1000, GSXR 1000, even the 600s and 750s are expensive. The whole part about having a motorcycle is that it's convenient performance for a cheap price. And like, yeah, like this bike brand new I think is around 16 or 17,000, something like that. I could be wrong. No, that's not right. CBR 1000s are about 14, ZX10s are about 14,000, something like that, new, brand new off the showroom floor from a dealership. I mean, that's a lot of money. I'm not doubting the performance. You know, this thing can do 180 miles an hour out of the gate. There's no car on the planet that can do that. But the part of having a motorcycle is that it's cheap and convenient. It's good on gas. Hello, what the fuck is that? That was... I don't like that, whatever that was, actually. Never mind, delete my previous comment. You know, they're good on gas mileage. The insurance is supposed to be cheap, but now for sport bikes, like sport bikes, which are supposed to be the cheaper bikes, you know, like Chinese cheap bikes, right? That's the idea behind them, Japanese, originally anyway. The insurance for these things, for a younger kid, you know, they have to finance them to get them now. You can't just go, a lot of people who want them can't afford them going into a dealer, which you shouldn't have, buy things you can't afford. The problem is that, you know, insurance on these things are ridiculous. Even for me, hey, look at that ZX14. Full coverage for me, and you have to have full coverage, is ridiculously expensive. For my bike, fully covered is about $2,000 a year. That's a lot of money. Hey, look, there's more bikers here. Let's pull up next to these bikes. We got a chrome swing arm on a CBR 600. It's a Bacardi bike? That's cool. Oh, dude, he's got a Moto Loot key tag. Reckless, fuck you, that was awesome. He just left his helmet out here. He's got a GoPro on it. He's got a Cena on it. He just left all this shit out here on this nice bike. Are you kidding me? Cool, I need to go get back and get my truck. Obviously, I can't carry the office chair with me. I just want to make sure that they had exactly what I needed before I fucking went home, got my truck, and then came back. Seemed like a good idea since it's right down the road from where I work out at. Also, I didn't meet whoever the bikers were because they didn't have their gear with them. The dude left his keys in his bike, man. That's weird. Yeah, insurance rates are through the roof for bikes. You know, before, I was talking to actually a buddy of mine that goes to the gym with me, and, you know, he used to work for PD. I say, you know, like you guys knew about that, but he used to work for the police department. He said that for a long time, you didn't even need a motorcycle insurance in Georgia. It's only been like a recent thing. Maybe if people would stop crashing Daytonas into yellow Porsches, it'd be fine. No, I'd be lying and said that if it wasn't a little bit my fault too that insurance rates are so expensive for motorcycles, or insurance rates in general. You know how like when you were to pass tests in high school, some teachers would give you a curve, a grading curve, because you were dumber than the rest of the students, the teacher would give you a learning curve or a grading curve, like, hey, everyone else did shit on this test, so you get a little bit better of a score because of it. Well, that's kind of how it is with motorcyclists, you know? It's like, hey, because you're a shit motorcyclist and you run from the cops and get speeding tickets and crash your shit, everyone has expensive insurance stuff. Aftermarket parts are expensive too. You know, price is one thing or whatever, but I think it just disinterests a lot of people. You know, every year there's a bunch of motorcycle deaths. Everyone knows somebody that's died from a motorcycle accident or has been in a really bad one. I know so many people, close friends of mine, who have died on motorcycles. That's actually the story behind this particular key tag. I will go into details in another depressing video. Everyone knows someone that's been killed on a bike, right? Like it's a deadly machine because you don't have the safety crash test ratings, you don't have airbags, you don't have a seatbelt, you don't have walls. It's like you go down, you get hurt. Like that's how it works, man. And I think that disinterests a lot of people. You know, everyone wants to stay inside and play video games, like myself. But at the same time, I like to get out there and I like to enjoy myself. And this right here is a love like I've never felt like any other. And when I started my YouTube channel, I didn't create it with the intentions of making people interested in motorcycles. That wasn't why I created it. I created it as like a vent and entertainment platform. Like I got on my bike and recorded to kind of get out some of my problems that I was having and just bitch about people I knew and girlfriend issues, and it turned into something else. But I think it's important for motovlogging to exist now for bikers in general, because I can't tell you how many messages I get a day. Dan, you're one of the main reasons that I ride a motorcycle, or I got my first motorcycle. You inspired me to get a bike. And I love that. I never want to take that away from anybody. It's a love like you will never feel before. You will get on a bike and this will be your lifestyle. Don't ever let me fool you into thinking that this isn't a lifestyle, because it very much is. I think it's important for motovlogging to exist just because of that alone. People need to know about it. And one of the things that I've kind of thought about is what motovlogging has done for the motorcycle community is that it does help get a lot of people involved. I mean, you see some guy like me or Jake or Walter just having the time of their lives. 3 people, by the way, who are completely different personas. I'm loud and obnoxious and outgoing and talking to people. Walter is he's reclusive and he's very by himself. He's in his own thoughts, in his own world. And Jake is like a dad figure, you know. He's this goofy, he's 30s, he's older than the rest of us, and he's just this like fatherly figure. And 3 personas that would have extremely clashed with each other outside of the motorcycle or motovlogging community, and then they're brought together by this one common interest. Jake and I share a lot of interests, for instance, and so do Walter and I. Walter and I share gaming. Him and I are big gamers. We're both avid, video game players. And that's our big connection, is we grew up listening to the same YouTube videos and the same watching stuff. And Jake, him and I both have a love for guns and working on things, and that's how him and I connect, is through physical, like, touching things and building things. Insert gay joke here. So I think the connection that this particular machine has between so many people is outstanding, and I hate to see something as awesome as motorcycles go out the window. Even in car culture, I don't see the type of brotherhood that bikes have. And I'm super happy to see the if it ain't a Harley, ain't a bike generation die off too. The more and more I'm around motorcycles and the more and more I ride, the more and more I find out, can I say more anymore? But the more I realize is that if it ain't a Harley, ain't a bike, people are gone almost. Because not everybody wants to ride a Harley. Don't get me wrong. I've had a few experience with HFBs, Harley fuckboys, but the amount of respect I'm shown by other riders who ride Harleys nowadays is pretty up there, especially if I'm on my Magna. It just disinterests people more and more every year, I think. Summers get hotter, winters get colder, global warming, whatever you believe in, I don't care. People ride less. Families are had. A lot of the bikers from previous generations are too old to ride now. They can't put their legs down and keep up bikes, and they're telling their kids, don't get a bike. I remember what I used to do in bike, and I think that's a big cycle of it, right? Is that the older generation has kids. Then they put away their bikes, right? Because like I have a family now. I can't be riding this death machine. It scares them a little bit. And then they tell their kids when they get older, Dad, I want a bike. And the father's like, no! I remember exactly what I used to do on motorcycles. No bike for you. So I guess I can't really blame individuals for, you know, being uninterested in motorcycles. They're dangerous and they can be scary. What? I think I heard dude with Dan. Peep this shit. Look at this. Pickle Dan key tags. Is that not like the fucking tits, dude? Anyway, guys, tell me what you think. We'll do a little interactive video. Like, why do you think the main reason, and this is something I'm working on, it's part of some of the bigger projects that I'm a part of right now, is inspiring more people to ride. It's kind of like one of those sub-projects I talked about at the beginning of the year. But I'd like to hear y'all's opinion. I forgot to turn off my traction control, which prevents me from doing wheelies, so it just goes up there and hangs. There's a brrrr, you'll hear it. It does, it goes up there and hangs, man. Weird. There is a cute as fuck dog. Just, what are you doing with this?